Now we will come back to our own sessions. Now I request Mr. E. Selvan, DGM Marketing of Nelcast Limited, to introduce Mr. Rajmohan Mathiazhagan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I am very privileged to introduce Rajmohan Mathiazhagan today for this session as a speaker. He is now the National Head Sales Allied Refractory Products India Limited. He is a qualified postgraduate in ceramic technology from Alapa College of Technology, Anna University, Gindi. B.Tech Chemical Engineering for Madhyaman Engineering, Osur. Passed out from Sacred Heart Convent Higher Secondary School, Vipuram. Mr. Rajmohan started his career with Allied Refractory Products as a sales engineer in the year 2008. In 2012, he was promoted as a regional manager for South India, and currently he is heading the sales of Allied Refractory Indian operations. He holds a total experience of 15 years with Allied. Earlier to Allied, he was at Carborundum Universal, Super Refractories as project trainee, and as a production manager at SVS Ceramics. He has visited various countries like US, Germany, Africa, Sri Lanka, and Thailand for various projects and sales activities. Apart from his professional, he is an athlete and has represented for University Hockey team. Good, I request now Mathiazhagan to take over.
Thank you, Selvam sir. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I hope actually everyone had a good lunch and no more sleep, okay? I'll try to finish it within 20 minutes max, okay? So today I'll be covering new trends or new generation in castables, and also I'll be talking about precast shapes for foundry industry and HTF furnace. So I like to understand actually how many people are engaging with refractories on a day-to-day basis. Daily basis la yaar refractory use pannite irukeenga? Anyone here? Sir, actually you were a veteran, sir. I don't know you, sir. Anyone else from the shop floor? Okay, so before I start, actually I like to put this session a little bit more interactive. Okay, so I like to understand actually how many of you know that the classification of castables. What are the types of castables are there? How many types of castables are there? No idea? This is a preparation for your next round of quiz competition, okay? So this is one of the questions actually which is there in the quiz competition. I'm leaking it. Okay. Okay. When we talk about classification of castables, refractory castables have been classified actually into different aspects depending upon the calcium oxide in it, binder source, chemical composition, bulk density, the flowing characteristics, everything. But commonly it has been classified actually in terms of CaO, which is calcium oxide, which is present actually in the refractory. And when we talk about classification, this is what I asked you. It is called as conventional castable, low cement castable, and ultra low cement, and no cement castables. So today we will be majorly covering about no cement castables. So when we talk about conventional castable, the lime percentage in conventional castable is more than 2.5%, and in LCC it will be somewhere around between 1 to 2.5, and ultra low cement actually it will be like 0.2 to 1%, and in no cement actually it's less than 0.2. Depending upon the cement percentage, the water ratio, the water addition also varies. In conventional castable it takes about 8 to 15% of water addition, and LCC 5 to 7, and ultra low cement around 5. And in no cement actually mostly water is nil. We'll go with a different binder which will be talking further. So so all castables require water, and what's the role of water actually in castables? So depending, as I said earlier, depending upon the lime content in it, the water percentage fluctuates, and the substantial portion of water reacts with the cement to form hydration, so that actually once you cast it, it holds and gets the strength. And the remaining water helps actually in terms of flowability, and after heating it up around high temperature like 600 degrees Celsius, all this water comes out, leaving more porosity to your hot face, and this also lowers the strength of the castable at high temperatures. So here I'm going to talk about the porosity levels When you talk about porosity levels, as I said, actually when the water gets evaporated from the castable at high temperatures, in conventional castable there will be a range between 20 to 30% porosity level will be there. In low cement it will be like between 10 to 16. In ULCC it will be like 5 to 10, and in no cement actually it will be like 3 to 5. So now since I said actually I like to talk about more about NCC, which is no cement castable, because this is going to be emerging. It's not new, it was already in the market, but we were not engaging these kind of castables for a long time, but now things are getting changed and we'll be getting more into it. So the disadvantages with cement bordered castables are the drying time is more, and also it's very critical because you add almost like 8 to 16% of water, or almost like even if you go with ULCC it will be like 5% water. So normally the drying time is more, and it's very sensitive towards the steam spalling because there are multiple temperature limits where the chemical water gets released actually from the system. So you need to be very careful, and normally whenever we supply refractories, actually we also supply a drying out cycle so that people try to follow it. And as I said, actually it needs long drying hours, and it involves a lot of fuel being used actually for drying it out, depending upon the capacity of the furnaces, so leaving a large amount of carbon footprint. And also in some cases the Ca which is present in the castable, which gives that strength in the initial green strength actually, so that acts as a contamination for liquid metals, especially in case of aluminum melting alloys. And this Ca also combines with other minerals, fluxes and slags in the system, and makes the castable actually brings the castable melting point to a low melting point, so that it does not withstand actually at higher temperatures. So what is the reason behind choosing no cement castable? So it can be heated up literally fast. It has less liquid formation, liquid phase formation, so that you have better hot strength, and it does not leave any cement hydrates, so there's a better permeability and volume stability. This permeability helps you to release the moisture at very early stages. But there's some disadvantages because it has very low green strength, so you have to be very careful actually while handling the equipments or moving the equipments after casting. So it's always preferable to heat it and then move it. The set time control is little critical because it's a colloidal silica based, so that it is not like water based where you can adjust the set times. So in this actually the set time is little critical, so you have to be very careful actually while using the amount of binder system into it. And transportation again is a big issue, and in India frozen will not be a concern because once you go below 0 degrees Celsius the colloidal silica freezes out and it can't be used. This is how NCC can be accommodated for fast heat up. So I put a graph over here. If you can see this graph, the orange marks talks about the amount of water being released at 20 degrees Celsius of curing. So in case of NCC it is like 19%. In case of castable with 6% cement, it is almost like 10%. So you can see a huge difference. During the initial curing itself, the amount of water getting released, and then when you're drying it out 110 degrees Celsius, the amount of water released actually will be like 70%, whereas actually in castable it will be like 63, and in the final firing you can see only 11% versus 27. So this can be literally fast heated out fastly, and most of the heating will be done actually during the initial dry out itself. How we can improve the drying process? This is a major concern actually. So when we come across actually to every foundry industry, we found a lot of challenges with respect to drying practices, downtime, burners, a lot of these things actually. So this NCC can help you out actually a lot into this. For drying out any castable, actually the permeability should be increased. So for improving the permeability, there's only chance actually because the transition between the cement to cement phase has to be changed, so that by reducing the hydration phase, you can increase the permeability. And there are various attempts being done actually to new binder technology, but there were challenges actually to get the same strength what we had with the traditional cement based castables. But phosphate bonded actually emerged as a solution to improve the permeability, but there's a big challenge actually when we use phosphoric acid bonded castables, because the control time, the setting time is very critical, because in phosphoric acid bonded castables actually the setting time is almost like 5 to 10 minutes. So then how do we can set actually no cement castables? So this is where actually the sol gel technology comes in, and the principle behind the bonding is between the formation of gel from a sol which surrounds the refractory aggregates through a network, which helps actually to gain the strength when further heating, and then creating a ceramic bond. So so normally it's a colloidal silica which is being used actually as a binding system. So by changing the pH, it has been the sodium silicate actually has been formed into a colloidal silica, and we add MgO to adjust actually the setting times accordingly based upon how much actually fast or how much slow we want the product to set. So with this we came up with a product called as nanotech. There are several versions actually with nanotech. So I'm going to talk about what is nanotech actually. It's been already covered mostly. The strength and weaknesses, colloidal silica, general uses, portfolio, applications, and heat up. So this is a 2-component mix. This is where the product has been supplied. We supply the aggregate mix separately and the binder separately, and it will be mixed actually inside. We'll not be using water actually. We'll be using colloidal silica in place of water. So what is the strength? As I said earlier, there's a less mixing time compared to cement bed castable which needs water. Setting time is much faster, so the downtime is less. You can remove the pull out the forms very easily. So rapid dry out. So as I said earlier, the dry out can be very fast. It's not like that actually. We have to have the same cycle like what we have for the water based. It has a good abrasion resistant and better chemical resistance compared to cement based castables, and it has been designed actually to bond very good actually with the existing old refractories. So even if you want to go for a repair like a pressure pour or tun dish or any channel furnaces, so it can be easily repaired actually, and it bonds very good with the old existing refractories, and especially it has a good non-wetting properties. So the slag adhering will be much less because the porosity is very less, and this product actually works fantastic in case of aluminum where non-wetting is much required, and these are completely cement free and no water. So colloidal silica is a suspension of fine amorphous, non-porous, and typically spherical silica particles in liquid phase. Initial acidification of water glass, that is sodium silicate, which yields into SiOH4. So this is way actually, well, there are little bit challenges. As I said earlier, freezing is one issue. So anything goes below 0 degrees Celsius, actually this product freezes and it's irreversible. So you can't use this product any further, which is not the case in India. Typically the shelf life of this colloidal silica lasts between 1 to 2 years. So storing is not an issue. But you should not store in aluminum case containers, and it's always preferred actually in reinforced plastics, and transportation is a little bit concerned. So what are the weaknesses of using this product actually? As I said, we have to supply nanobond separately. That is one concern. Price is a little bit high, and the mixer whatever we are going to use for mixing this product actually has to be cleaned thoroughly, otherwise it will be sticking to your mixer very strongly, and it's very hard to clean, and it has poor strength at low temperatures. So this is a heat up program which was being shown. So if you can see this graph, you can see it for the same lining thickness with the same equipment with LCC, that is low cement castable, we require almost like 36 hours. And in case of nanotechnology products, actually it is like only like 24 hours. So we can save almost like 12 hours actually. So this is a cost which can be saved. So here actually I'm comparing nanotech with the Zetatech. Zetatech is nothing actually, because there are, as I said, there are challenges actually with respect to nanotech while supplying the binding system separately. So we developed a product actually which is has microsilica being added actually inside the product, and water can be used actually wherever there's a challenge of supplying no colloidal silica. So Zetatech is a 1-component mix, and nanotech is a 2-component mix. And as I said, actually it's the same colloidal silica bonded, thermal shock resistant. It's much better. It's cement free, and it has a rapid dry out. In case of Zetatech, actually it uses water again. It has good strength again because there's no cement. The porosity is very less. But this requires a slow dry out compared to the nanotechnology products. So this is again, you can see this picture where the colloidal silica being freezed actually and thrown out. So coming to the next part of my presentation is the precast solutions for foundry industry. This is upcoming, and we can see a lot of inquiries actually coming in with respect to precast shapes. These are precast shapes. How to say that actually? There are certain products actually which we can't directly engage on site for casting. But it can be used actually in a controlled fashion, because there's a lot of parameters actually in taking, there's a lot of control measures has to be taken while casting. So we do it in our site, and we used to develop shapes and we used to supply to the customers. These are consistent and has a controlled manufacturing process, and the turnaround time is much faster compared to a traditional cast in place monolithic refractories. The labor cost is reduced a lot over compared to the dry laminate mass installation or castable installation or laying bricks. And if it's been well designed, actually it's repairable also. So disadvantage, when we talk about disadvantages, cost is one thing, because if you're going to take one or two pieces, the cost might be a little bit expensive, but if you're going to take multiple pieces, the prices come down. Handling and shipping is one concern, because for an example, right now we manufacture very small shapes in India, but we have plans to manufacture shapes very soon. We are expanding, but right now we bring shapes from China, Europe or US, and filling in containers is a big issue, so the transportation cost is also a big issue. You can see I'm going to run this, I'm almost done actually. I'm going to run through a lot of pictures actually which talks about a lot of precast shapes. So this is a coreless furnace top rings, what we manufacture actually and supply to all the coreless furnaces. This is again coreless furnace spouts. You can see in place of putting a plastic ramming mass or casting actually, because traditionally we tend to use sodium silicate with the sand or sodium silicate with the ramming mass, which does not have good strength and it erodes very fast, and all these gets into your liquid metal and acts as an inclusion in your castings, and also it acts as a slag actually into your tundish or ladles or wherever it is. So there are these shapes actually have been developed so that you can easily change it and fix it in, and then you can run through it. It runs for a long time, and it has better non-wetting properties also. These are coreless crucibles. In place of silica or in place of high alumina, you can go with crucibles. We have supplied almost like 6 or 7 crucibles for a 6.5 ton vacuum furnace in Midani. These are small crucibles. These are again ladle spouts. You can see the ladle, and it's been fixed actually. The other structures have been, so there's no casting in sight. It has been casted and it has been fixed. So wherever you have damages, you can replace only those parts, and the design has been made in such a way that it's replaceable and reused actually for a long time. Again, precast ladle shapes. These are just inserts. So you can just insert and put it in and run, because these are already been pre-dried till 600-700 degrees Celsius depending upon the product being used. Downtime is very less. You have clean liquid metal. As I said, the slag sticking is very less, because the porosity is very much controlled actually in these shapes. These are again tundish for pouring iron and non-ferrous metals. So any shapes can be customized. So if you have drawings actually for your shapes, for your lining, we can develop into a shape. And this is again a tundish for pouring iron and non-ferrous metals. And these are launder systems. These are being used actually majorly in cupola launders or in zinc and gallium furnaces or aluminum furnaces, where the metal runs through a long launder. So these are burner blocks and pier blocks, which has been engaged actually for heat treatment furnaces, because typically heat treatment furnaces are being lined with bricks, but now we have already done a couple of installations in one of our foundry in Calicut, and we have changed actually the complete bricks actually into a castable, and we have put actually pier blocks in place of again bricks. The main idea is to have a long-lasting lining life along with less power consumptions or fuel consumptions. Because what happens is, in case of HTF furnaces, the biggest challenge is in the bed, where it has been done with bricks, and you can see these castings have a lot of scaling, and the scaling falls into the bricks and it gets into the gaps of the bricks, and whenever there's an expansion and contraction, so the brick moves and damages the entire bed. So there's always uneven, and also when you place the castings also, has been placed actually unevenly, and leading to improper heating of castings or heat treatment of castings. We completely changed the bricks and converted into castable beds. It can be either cast on site or it can be supplied as precast slabs, and then these pier blocks can be fixed actually for loading the castings. And this is again burner blocks, where we have done burner blocks actually, and it was quite successful. So this is about my presentation with respect to nanotechnology and precast shapes. If you have any questions.
You were mentioning some limitations for casting this in situ rather being done at your site. What are those limitations?
As I said, see, there are certain products like we have developed certain products, but there are very controlled water additions and a very controlled heat up cycle has to be followed actually for those particular products. And those products I can't supply to you directly for you to cast in site. So we take that actually, and we talk about the products once the product and once the technical things have been done, we cast it and we supply to you. So that's what I was telling earlier. So certain products, certain castables I can't supply to you. I have to do it in my site.
Is what exactly my question is. What are those limiting factors?
No, the limiting factors are
Why should not that castable be done there at in situ?
That's what, sir. Water additions and dry out cycle. The main thing is.
Can that not be managed at the customer side?
No, sir. We have tried it, but it was not quite successful because the way the mixer system is used.
Okay, fine.
With the way the mixing time, the water additions, everything does a little bit changes. So literally, we failed actually in a couple of places.
Fine, thanks.
Thank you.
Castables size பெருசாகும்போது அதோட குவாலிட்டியில் ஏதாவது அஃபெக்ட் ஆகுமா? ஐ மீன் டிபெண்ட்ஸ் ஆன் த ஷேப்பில் ஏதாவது குவாலிட்டி இருக்கா?
கேஸ்டபிள் வால் திக்னஸ் பற்றி பேசுகிறீங்களா?
எஸ்.
இல்லை அப்படி கிடையாதுங்க ஆக்சுவலாக. See, normally பார்த்தீங்கன்னா it all depends upon your furnace, what is requirement actually. If you giving me a equipment drawing வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், we design accordingly with respect to the backups and the hot phase. So completely castable irukadu. It can be like 3 inches, 1 inches, 2 inches, whatever it is. We design it actually and we give it, but there's no relation between the quality of the casting. Might be it can be because of the quality of the casting. நீங்க நான் சார்ட்ட சொல்ற மாதிரி தான். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், நீங்கள் வந்து வாட்டர் பர்சன்டேஜ் மெயின்டைன் பண்ணல, இல்லை ட்ரை அவுட் சைக்கிள் ஒழுங்காக ஃபாலோ பண்ணல, மிக்சிங் டைம் ஒழுங்காக ஃபாலோ பண்ணல, இல்லை ப்ராப்பரான மிக்சர் யூஸ் பண்ணல, அப்படிங்கிற சுச்சுவேஷனில் எஸ் there will be a defect actually அந்த காஸ்டிங் குவாலிட்டி. பட் it depends upon the wall thickness அது எதுவும் டிஃபரன்ஸ் வராது.
ஓகே, தேங்க்ஸ்.
Leadership skills and developing workforce and skilling manpower. So we Allied had a policy like they created a program which where they picked up actually few peoples like leaders, and they were trying to develop them into next level leaders. So there are 4-5 books which was being given to us, but I like these 3 books which was talking about more about how a leader should be. This first and third book, that is The Way of Shepherd, is a very simple, easy book to read, and the Extreme Ownership is about US Navy SEALs. So these 2 books were really good, and this is again a crucial conversation about how you put yourself actually under a crucial conversation. This was one question what he was asking about, how to manage the angry and those things actually, so during a conversation. So these books were really good. I thought of sharing it, so I'm sharing it here. Thank you once again.
Thanks, Raj.
Thank you.
Thank you for a presentation on the latest of technology in refractory. To now felicitate our speaker for the day, Mr. Rajmohan, I now request Mr. K. Balasubramanian, past SR chairman of IAF, to felicitate Rajmohan with a Angavastram, and I request Mr. R. Palanimurugan, IAF Southern Region Secretary, to felicitate Rajmohan with a memento, please. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Raj. With that, we've come to the close of the technical papers. Now we'll be starting with the quiz, the regional cast quiz. We'll need some time to do the setup. Till then, I'll request Mr. Palanimurugan to take over.